Good morning, students. Today we will start with our Unit 1 with the continuity of Unit 1. We will cover the following topics. First is basic concepts of OOPS, then compiling and linking of program, then types of errors available in C++, then is introduction to IDE, structure of C++ program, and concept of IO stream. First, we will cover the basic concept of OOPS. In the basic concept of OOPS, we will cover the basic definitions of object, class, abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding, and message passing. In our future lecture, we will cover all in detail, but in this session, we will just cover the basic definition of these concepts that are related to your OOPS. First is object. Object is basic unit of object-oriented programming that is both data and function that operates on data are bundled as unit called as object. If we take an example, if you are studying in CSC, then you are one of the object of the class, which is having individual identity that is called an object. Then coming to the class, when you are going to define a class, you define a blueprint for an object. This does not actually define any data, but it does define what the class name means, what an object of the class will consist of, and what operation can it perform of such an object. As I am saying, you are an object of a class. If we take an example of a class, then CSC is name of your class and you will be the object of your class that will work accordingly your opportunities and your efforts that you have. Then abstraction. In the abstraction means providing only essential information to the outside world but hiding their background details. That means just that information will be provided that is required, not all the detailed information will be given. For example, if the web server hides how it processes data it receives, the end user just hit the endpoints and get the data back. Here we can take another example. Suppose you are going to access Facebook, then you are only concerned with the front end of the Facebook. You are not concerned what is at the back end of the Facebook. That is called abstraction. That means only the required items are presented before you, not all the items. Encapsulation. Encapsulation is the process of binding data members and member functions into a single unit. This is a way of restricting access to certain properties. Then comes the inheritance. The ability of creating a new class from an existing class is called an inheritance. Then coming to the next definition of polymorphism. The polymorphism means poly means many and morphism means forms. Many forms. In simple words, we can define polymorphism as the ability of a message to be displayed in more than one form. Then comes the dynamic binding. C++ provides facility to specify that the compiler should match function calls with the correct definition at the runtime. This is called dynamic binding. There are some another name for the dynamic binding. We can also call it as late binding or runtime binding. Then comes the message passing. Message passing means objects that we create can communicate with each another by sending and receiving information. The process of conversation among the objects is called message passing. You don't have to worry at this point that what are objects, abstraction, encapsulation. These are the concepts that are all related to your class concept that we will study in detail in our future lectures. Coming to the compiling and linking process, firstly, there is a process that is called pre-processing that modifies your original program according to the directive that starts with hash. As you know, when you're going to declare your header file, it starts with a hash symbol that is called pre-processor directive. Then the compilation process will go on that converts your program into the object file containing the machine language code. Then there is a linking of the program that handles merging and make executable file. To study compiling and linking process in more detail, firstly, there is a source code. Any program that you will write or any code that you will write is known as source code. It may have any sort of extension that is .c, .cpp, .h. This is your first process that is called pre-processing. Then your pre-processing code will go to the compilation where the extension will become .i or .ii. Then it will go to the assembly code with the extension .s. This file name will be created. Then after the assembly, there is conversion of machine code with the file extension .o or .obj, and then there is a linking of the file with the file extension .lib. Then your exe file will be get created. As you can see, first step is pre-processing, then is compilation. That means when you compile your program, then there is the assembly language code that will run, that will convert your compiled language into assembly language. Then there is a conversion into machine language code because the computer can understand only the machine language. Then there is a linking where your exe file will be get created. In the previous lecture, I told you that you can run your C++ program at any system. Then which file that you are going to handle when you run your C++ program to any system is .exe file. That is, exe stands for executable file. I will give you one pictorial view of your compilation process. Firstly, there is C++ source code. You will not simply say that the C++ program. You will generally say this is our source code that must have some extension like .cpp. I will take the name as 1.cpp. This is the name of my file. After the pre-processing, it will convert into intermediate code. This is in detail. Then your 1.cpp will be get converted into .i or 1.ii. Where I'm using or, that means it may vary from compiler to compiler. Or instead of this, I will write for your better understanding pre-processor. And I will say it intermediate code with the file extension of .i. Then there is compilation process with the compiler. Then preprocessor will go to the compiler, and there is a compilation process. Then after the compiler, there is assembly code that will be get generated. Your compiler will convert your high level language into assembly language that will be the file extension with the name of 1.s. Your file will be get created. Then assembly code will go to the assembler. After going to the assembler, there is a creation of object code. That means your object code will be get created. Then it will, you have to see very clearly. This is the whole process that will not be taught to you every time. Object code, with the object code, your 1.s will be get converted into .obj file. Then it will go to the linker for linking of the program. Then there is executable code. The executable code is with the file extension .exe. That means obj will be get converted into 1.exe. Then it will go to the loader, and then you can check your output. This is the whole process each that will run each time when you create your program or run your program. This is called build process. That means how your program is building. I will repeat it again. Firstly, there is 1.cpp file, that is your source code. There is a preprocessor that will generate some intermediate code with the file extension .i or .ii. Then there is a compilation process. After the compilation process, your code will be get converted into assembly language code. Then it will go to the assembler that will convert your assembly code into machine level language that will create one obj file. Then it will go to the linker where there is a linking of the program. Then it will go to the executable code. That means linker goes to the loader, but before moving to the loader, a file with the uh, file extension .exe that has been created, then it will go to the loader. Then there is a output of your program that you can see each time this process will run. The types of errors. We're having three types of errors that are available in C++. First is the syntax errors. There are some rules have been defined by each programming language that we have to follow when we write our program. If we are going to write one header file, then in C++ it is a mandatory condition that we should write hash, then include dot h. Means hash is preprocessor directive that we have to write down. Then there is a less than sign, then we will write over respective header file, then dot h, then there is one greater than sign. This is the syntax that we have to follow. Okay, as in the example shown to you in presentation, that cin, then there is operator that is called extraction operator, then some variable is there. This is this, you may say that next condition that where you have to write down. Okay, you can't change the sign of the operators. Here there is an error. I will come to. Firstly, as I'm saying, syntax error. That means some rules, some protocols has been defined. I will take example of C here first, then I will come to C++. Because you have already studied C, there is a syntax that printf, then you have to write down the format specifier, then you will write down the name of the variable. This is a syntax. Here there is an error. The error is if I'm not going to use semicolon, then you will get error that semicolon missing. Or if I will write one semicolon but will not define any format specifier here, then again I will get an error, because in the rules of C, it has been fixed that you have to give the format specifier, you have to write down the semicolon at the end of any statement. Similarly, this is one of the syntax error if I will not write down. As in the example that I have shown you, I have used this operator. Then this is called, basically this is called insertion operator, but I have said this is called insertion operator. Okay, but in the syntax of Cin, we can only use extraction operator. That means the correct syntax, I will write here, the correct syntax for Cin is, for corrected input is Cin, this is extraction operator. This is the wrong syntax. I will write here wrong syntax. This is the correct syntax. Only the difference is here I have used insertion operator, that is not the correct syntax. This is the correct syntax. If this type of errors will occur, then this type of error will we say that syntax error is there. Then second error that comes is called runtime error. Runtime error is when you divide any number by 0, then you will get an error with the name of your program will execute very correctly, but at the DOS screen where you get your output, your you may say that your black screen where you get your output, instead of any value you will get division by 0. As in the presentation it is shown to you that a equal to 10 divided by 0, as in mathematics the answer is infinity. Anything divided by 0 is infinity, but in computer system you don't get any option where you get the infinity sign. You will get an error that is division by 0. This type of error, we say that this is runtime error. The last type of error that we will see here, we can't say this is the last type, but that we will cover. There is linker error as well, okay, that you are going to cover in this part. Let me say logical error. Logical error means you want to multiply two number, okay, but you have written there plus instead of multiplication sign. You have used addition sign here instead of multiplication sign, then your logic is incorrect. Okay. You are going to multiply two numbers, that first number a equal to 3, b equal to 2. When you are going to multiply, your answer should be 6. But instead of multiplication sign, you use addition sign. So your answer will become 5. That is your mistake, not the mistake of compiler. This is not the syntax error. This is not the runtime error. Logical error is generally generated by the user itself. Then comes the Integrated development environment. An integrated development environment is a software application that provides comprehensive facilities to computer program for software development. The blue color screen of Turbo C++ that the software or compiler we use for our programming, you will get blue color screen that is called IDE. Okay, that is one sort of environment that is provided to you for your source code writing is called IDE, Integrated Development Environment. An IDE normally consists of a source code editor, build automation tools, and debuggers. There are so many options are available to you in IDE where you can change your program, like you can change the background of your program, you can add watch in your program, you can debug your program, you can add breakpoints in your program. By exploring IDE, you will get so many options. Then coming to the structure of C++ program. The next topic we are going to cover is structure of your C++ program. From here, your programming will start. Till that, we have covered some basic concepts, some theoretical concept that is related to your C++ programming language. Now coming to the structure of C++ program. There are some sections that are available in your structure of C++ program. First thing is called the documentation section. Documentation section means when you are going to document something. If I will write a program to display welcome to C++ on your screen. This is my documentation section. Okay, why I will say that this is my documentation section, because when you will open this program, by just reading first line, it will be clear to you that what's the program all about. You don't have to go through by the program line by line. Then you will come to know that okay, this is the program to display welcome to C++. By just reading one line, you can find out what is program all about. This is called documentation section. You can check at your presentation that I have mentioned there. This is an optional section. This is not a mandatory section. This is just for your documentation. Why you write your notes? If you are going through online classes, you are having some recordings, but some students may write notes. Why they are writing their notes? Because it is for their reference, for their future reference, so that they can go through by the notes. This is their documentation. Okay, in layman language, this is their documentation. We can go to some file work. This is documentation. We by just going through one file, we may say that okay, this work is the paperwork. We may say that. Okay? Similarly, in C++, you are not going to go through any paperwork, but when you're going to open one program, you must clear about why I have written this file program, why I have written this particular line. This is called documentation. Documentation is having two parts. One is called the example I have given you earlier, and it is having two parts. One is called single line comment, other is called multi-line comment. The example that I have quoted earlier is an example of single line comment. The syntax for single line comment is you have to use two forward slashes. This is for the single line. Single line means whensoever you are going to give comment, comment means after writing these two forward slashes, your line will become dummy. It will not be understandable by the compiler. Even you may write your name here, it will not, you won't get any sort of error, because compiler is not to check this line where you use this double slash forward, forward double slash. Fine. In the multi-line comment, you will write the syntax of multi-line is slash star. Suppose I have written one line, two line, three line, four line, and I want to make all these lines as a comment. I don't want compiler to compile it. Then I will close it by star slash, right? Forward slash star star forward slash. This is the syntax for the multi-line comment. I will give one example of multi-line comment. Slash star write a program to, in the second line I will write display, in the third line I will write welcome to C++, then I will write on your screen, then I will close it by star slash. This is an example of multi-line comment. Then the other section is called the link section. Firstly, I go to by section, then I will assemble all this. Okay. Link section is mandatory section. You can't skip it. Link section means your header file section. It is mandatory to write header files in C++. There is a one standard institute that is called ANSI. They have given one statement that while writing your C program, you may skip your linker section or some header files, but in C++, it is mandatory to write your link section or your respective header file when you are going to use any sort of function. This is your second section of structure of C++ program. As in the example, we may say that syntax is hash include io stream dot h. This is the syntax of writing link section. Then third comes the define section. When you are going to use define section, it is again optional. It will depend upon your usage that you are going to use define section. The syntax of define section is hash define. So you are going to find some, you are going to calculate some formulas where there is a need of some pi value. You know, when you are going to find the circumference of a circle, area of a circle, or some formula related to the cylinder, you are going to use pi value again and again. Then instead of writing the value 3.14 again and again, you will define it as hash define pi 3.14. That means when you are going to use, I'm giving the rough example here. You will write hash define pi. You can use any name here, whatsoever the name of the variable you will give in the define section, it will be given in the remaining program as such. As if we are going to calculate the area, that is 2 pi r, we may write, one way is to write 3.14, then r is there. But we have used here pi in the define section. So instead of writing 3.14, we will write 2 into pi into r. Or you are going to calculate pi r square, then you will again write pi into r. That means instead of writing the value, you will directly use the name of the variable that you will define in your define section. Fine. This will depend upon your program whether you require the same value again and again or not. Then is called the global declaration section. In the global declaration section means again the global declaration section is optional section. It will depend whether you are going to use this global declaration section or not. In the global declaration section, you will make any variable as global by defining it along with the header files. Let you have defined your header files here and you are going to make any variable as global. That means you want to use that variable in throughout your program, not within scope of that program. This is called scope of the program. That means within these parentheses, there is a range of that particular program. But you want to use any variable. If I will write int a here, that means the scope of the a is between these parentheses only. Okay? If I want to use this a variable after this parenthesis, that I won't be able to access it. This generally happens in the cases of classes and in the higher concept. Okay? But if I declare a variable int b here, that means I can access b whether in this scope or after this scope. This is called global declaration section, when you define your variable along with the header files. Then comes the main section. Main sections mean your void main section. This is your main section where you write your whole code. It is mandatory to write your main function. Without the main function, your no program will work. You have to write it. It is very much required. Then comes the local variable declaration section. In the local variable declaration section, as I have told you, in the global declaration section, you have to define any variable along with the header files or after the header files. This is called global declaration section, and this is declaration of local variable declaration section. When you define your variable under the main section, this is called the local variable declaration section. Then comes the executable statement or action statements or action section. Any number of statements that you are going to write is called the executable statement section. You may write n number of statements here, depend upon the programming, that which program that you are going to write. Any in, cout statements or any statement that you will write here is called the executable statement section. I will combine all these 7 sections into a single program. First section, I said documentation section. I will write here, write a program to display welcome to C++. This is my documentation section. This is for first step. Second section is called link section. Here I will add the respective header file #include iostream.h and #include conio.h. How many header files will be required will depend upon the program that you are going to write. This is the simple program. I'm not going to write here define section. Further, we will write the define section. Here, there is also no need of global declaration section. That means I'm going to skip here third and fourth section for this particular program. Then I will come to the main section. Here I will write void main. What does it mean? Void hash. I will comment on later on. Firstly, I will assemble all this structure. This is the main section that will start. After the main section, you will write your parenthesis. Then comes the local variable declaration section. This is not, this will not be used in this program because I'm not going to use any type of operation in this program. Then comes the seventh section, that is called executable statement section. Here I said I want to display welcome to C++, so I will write here C out, then insertion operator, then in double quotes I will write welcome to C++. Then I will close the parentheses. In this program, I have used four sections: 1, 2nd, 5th, and 7th. Third, fourth, and sixth is not in. Third, fourth, and sixth are not required by me for this program. Okay. I will come here for line by line. First, this is documentation section. In the second section, I use hash here. Hash means I will label it as preprocessor directive. As in our general English, if we consider this term, pre means before, processor means any sort of process that is going to be, then directive means a type of direction, means at which direction it has to go. Add, include means simple, means add, to add something, to add something. Here this something means a respective header file. Then instead of stdio, I have used here iostream.h in C++ because firstly I will abbreviate it. IO stands for input, O stands for output, stream means flow. Input output stream. .h is the file extension for header files. Why I have used IOStream instead of stdio? Because here I have used cout statement. We're having two type of input output statements in C++, cin and cout. As in your C, we are having scanf and printf. But in C++, instead of scanf, we will use cin. Then instead of printf, we will use cout. As you know, scanf is to get any value and printf to print value. Then to get value, I will use cin. Cin stands for character input and cout stands for character output. Right? Here, the functioning of cin and cout. These are the functions that we are going to use. The functioning of cin and cout are in IOStream. So if we are going to use any one of these or both of these, then we have to add iostream.h. It is must. Then in second line, I'm using hash include conio.h. Similarly, hash is preprocessor, include is to add something. Here the add something means to add conio.h. Conio stands for console input output. Console input output means anything which is related to your output. .h is the file extension. Here I haven't used any function that will be related to your conio.h, but I will add it here. I will use, this is not any section here. This is just a function, additional function that I will use. Clear screen, then empty parenthesis, then I will use semicolon here. Then after this statement, I will use get ch. Here I have used two functions. One is called the clear screen. This clear screen is used to clear your previous output. It is used to clear previous output from your console or from your output screen. Okay. And get ch to hold output until you press any key or enter. It will depend. I'm using clear screen function, I'm using getch function. These are the functions. The coding of both these functions are in console.h. Okay, the console input output.h in the conio.h. If I'm going to use these two functions, then I have to add conio.h. Then comes the void main section. Void means empty. That means return type is nothing. Main is your main program that will start. This is the syntax. This is empty function. I'm not going to write anything here. Then the syntax will start when you start the parentheses open, and you will open the parenthesis, you will have to close the parenthesis. Then in the parentheses, the scope of this program, main program, in this scope, I have written cout. Cout, I have told you that cout stands for character output. You can't pronounce it as scout. You have to pronounce it as cin or cout. Okay, cout. Then this is called the, okay, I will comment on later on which operator this is. Okay, cout. Then you may say output operator. Then in double quotes, welcome to C++. As in C, you will write the same syntax as printf, double quotes, or you will write welcome, then parenthesis close. Then instead of printf, I have written cout. Then the syntax is same in double quotes. Whatsoever you will write in the double quotes, it will be get printed on your console as such. Okay. Here, welcome to C++ will be printed on your screen as such. Then there is a closing of parenthesis will be there. This is the general layout of the structure. Now I am going to use both the functions cin and cout and the remaining section that have been left. Okay. Here I will write a program to add two numbers. This is my documentation section again. Then I will come to my link section, hash include iostream.h, then hash include conio.h, then your void main. Here I am going to skip the clear screen because I am working over the board. When I will working over the IDE, then I will write the clear screen. Okay. Then I will write here get ch. This is the basic layout that I have written and that is required in all the program that you will write. Okay. Here the problem is, firstly you have to think about the program before going to the coding section. You have to add two numbers. As you know, when you have to add two numbers, what are the required things? Firstly, you require two numbers. Suppose you are going to add 3 and 5. These are the required number. Then you have to store the values of these two numbers at somewhere. To say that I'm going to use a and b as a variable where I am going to store the value of 3 and the value of 5. Okay. This will be called variable. What is variable all about? I will comment on later on. Then after the writing a with 3 and b with 5, then some operation will be get performed. That is my logical mathematical part. Which operation? That is addition operation. I will write, okay, addition means I have to add two numbers. The plus sign should be there. Then I will come here. The addition of two numbers will be stored in some other variable. The addition is 8. it will be get stored some other variable, then I require another variable. This is another variable. Always make one pictorial view in your mind before writing any program. It will be easy for you. Okay. Here I will write int a equal to 3, b equal to 5. Okay. I will make it as a constant here. Constant means uh, each time when I will run this program, I will get the same value, that is 8. How you can vary it, I will comment on later on. Int means the type of A is integer. You can't give float value. You can't give decimal value. Okay, it will be integer value. Here I will write int C. C equal to A plus B. The value of A plus B will be stored in C. So I will write C out C. Okay. Now I will elaborate it in more, that how you can write. Firstly, int A equal to 3 and B equal to 5. Then you have declared one variable C. The output will be go to C and you will get, suppose this is your output screen. I will make it here. This is your output screen. And whenever you will compile your program or run your program, you will get it here. Fine. But when you want, your screen will be right. Enter your first number, enter your second number, then the sum of two numbers is 8. Then how you will modify this program? You will write here int A, B, and C. These are the variables A, B, and C. These are the required variables. Firstly, count the number of variables. Okay. Then this is of integer type variables. Then I want one statement, that is C out, which will be get displayed over the screen. Enter first number. I will show you the output here. When you your compilation process will go on, it will check the first statement, that is C out, enter first number. At your output screen, you will get enter first number. You will give 3 here. Okay. Now, okay, when you will give 3 here, you will write C in. Okay. Then the value of first number, where you ever what at what point you want to give the value, you want to give the value with A, then you will write C in A, then you will get 3 here. Then C out, enter second number. At your output screen, you will get enter second number. I will enter 5 here. Then after giving two numbers, 3 and 5, now I require addition of two number. I will write here C equal, here C in B, C equal to A plus B. Then I want my output sum of two numbers. I will write one cout statement at enter, oh sorry, sum of two numbers. Then close the double quotes here. Then at my output screen, I will get sum of two numbers. This will be get displayed. Here is the main question, that at which variable you are getting your result. I'm getting my result in C. So before closing this statement, I will use this operator again and will write C here without quotes. The variable in which your value has been stored will be written without double quotes, but the value or the statement that you want to print as such, that you will give in double quotes. Here I want to print the values that will be get calculated here, will be written without double quotes or without anything. Then my answer will be 8 here. Then get ch statement, then closing the program. Here there is cout. Then I have used one operators here with the cout. Then with the cin, I have used this type of operator. This operator that is along with the cout is called insertion operator, or the operators which is along with the cin is called the extraction operator. Or in general words, these are the technical operator names, insertion and extraction. Or generally, you may say that this is input operator, this is output operator. With the operator which is along with the cout is called the output operator. This the operator which is along with the cin is called the input operator. Okay. Here in this line, I have used cout, then output operator, then sum of two numbers, then output operator again. Then in your, you may say that viva was, the question could be asked, can cascading of, I will write here, can cascading of two operators, generally the word used cascading of extraction and insertion operator is possible. This is your query, that can cascading of extraction and insertion operator is possible? Your answer is always yes, it is possible. Cascading means using the operator, the same operator in a line more than once is called cascading. Using of insertion operator, either insertion operator or extraction operator in a line more than once is called cascading of the operator. Fine. Here in this program, I have used the documentation section, then the link section. Again, there is no need of define section, global declaration section. Then I haven't used here, I will write 3 and 4 section is missing here. Then there is a void main section. This is local variable declaration section. Then there is executable statement. Then there is a completion of your program. Here the one thing is more. Here I have defined I have written all the variables here A, B, C. Okay. If I will write int A, B, then C in A, B, then I will write int C equal to A plus B. This thing is also possible. You can declare the variable later on when it is required. It is not mandatory to declare the variable here as okay. And as I have asked you the question that the cascading of two operator is possible in insertion and extraction. This is the example of your insertion, cascading of your insertion operator. This is the example of cascading of your extraction operator. Here in a single line, I have use the value of A to input, B the value to input. You can declare number of variables in a single line as C in A, B. So you are going to find the sum of 4 numbers A, B, C, D. In a single line, you may write down. Similarly, in the output section, you may write cout A, B, C. I said cascading means using of any operator, insertion or extraction more than once is called cascading of